Within the Southeast Asian market, there are 482 million internet users. The projection of like a cumulative annual growth of 10 to 30%. So with this in mind, the creator economy is supposed to grow to $2.59 billion by 2024.
Their reach is massive. It's bigger than probably like Logan Paul, for example, or Charlie D'Amelio. These are like very, very small players in front of most of these local Asian market people.
Hello and welcome to this special feature of Thousand Faces Club in collaboration with Budge. We are going to focus today on Southeast Asian market of the creator economy. I have with me Shreya and Divya from Budge. And to let you know more about Budge, you can focus on your financial wellness as well as your passions with Budge. And let's begin with today's conversation.
So with Budge, we're a financial technology company that caters exclusively to the requirements of the creators within the creator economy and as well as their ecosystem. And we understand that in the current era, managing income streams, especially like given how diverse they've become, and brand collaborations and partnerships is a very cumbersome task. So we want to offer a pretty comprehensive solution for the pain points that creators face given the current like state of affairs. Divya and I have been working on Budge for officially 6 months now. We have tackled issues. We have been hoping to tackle issues for Indian and Southeast Asian creators and their ecosystem.
Super. So today we hope to bring you some insights, some, narratives that can help you make inroads into the Southeast Asian market. So let's begin. Please give us an overview of the Southeast Asian market. Tell us how big is it, how big the canvas is, and how rapidly is it growing?
So if we consider the amount of internet users in the Southeast Asian market, within the Southeast Asian market, there are 482 million internet users that spend at least 2 hours every day on their phones, on their mobile devices. And therefore, the outlook for the creator economy is really bullish in Southeast Asia because of the projection of like a cumulative annual growth of 10 to 30%. So with this in mind, the creator economy is supposed to grow to $2.59 billion by 2024.
Wow.
And there are various strengths that the creator economy has in Southeast Asia, but creators don't exist in silos. They have loyal audiences and teeming fans that follow their content, right? So the size and staying power of any of these creator communities is then best explained by the followers' willingness to put their money where their mouth is. So when we look into how consumers in the Southeast Asia region are internet consumers, so like people who follow creators, they seek out reviews, they seek out trusted voices and trusted feedback that creators are providing on to make certain purchasing decisions of their own. So 40 to 60% of Southeast Asian internet users depend on social media influencers and key opinion leaders in the space as the main source of information when deciding to even purchase financial products. So it's not just any e-commerce product, but even when it comes to something such as a financial scheme or any kind of choice that they're making with respect to financial products, they're seeking out influencer opinions. So that's how successfully the Southeast Asian creators have been able to amass a loyal following. Some of the challenges are in the Southeast Asian creator economy are that even though it is a really diverse region, Southeast Asia is no different than the rest of Asia in one respect, which is that unless you are a doctor or a lawyer or a tech, like somebody in tech or an engineer, whatever you do is not really considered a legitimate career. So because of this generational stigma, there has been a little bit of a lack of growth in how many people are willing to become creators. But this is kind of circumvented by the survey that we have that was going viral a while back. It was a survey that was conducted by Lego, where they asked 3,000 children, I believe, in UK, US, and China about whether they wanted to become YouTubers when they grew up or they wanted to become astronauts. And most of, I think 52% in US and UK said that they would want to become YouTubers, but only 11% said that they would want to become YouTubers in China. So there's definitely a little bit of a generational thing here, which we can maybe
Right.
look into. In
Absolutely, absolutely. So, it's very fascinating how the world is changing. Particularly, you spoke about China, right? And ByteDance has completely, changed the game of social media. Video has overtaken. I mean, Facebook was literally, scared of TikTok at one point, right? Do you think, the Southeast Asian market, let's say Eastern market in general, is it dictating the terms in the West now? Do you think they have successfully, replaced the West in terms of, setting the trends? What do you think?
Definitely, when people had said, like, look east, they were not kidding when they said, like, you have to look east in terms of how things have been changing rapidly within the Southeast Asian economy. To be quite frank, most of the things that are currently taking place in Asia are dictating certain trends within the West. And if I could just iterate a few, one was the A4 paper challenge, for example. How thin are you? That was dictating body image issues within the Western media as well. Or when it comes to beauty standards, I don't think so. The West can even keep a markup out there because Southeast Asian markets and the Oriental market has been dictating the slug value. They introduce things like snail mucin. They've been introducing things that they have been doing for generations, and now West has been aping and following them. So things have definitely like changed leaps and bounds for them when it comes to how the market is being dictated, whether it comes to fashion, whether it comes to education, whether it comes to how you're dressing up.
Right.
You cannot deny the K-pop influence. How can one
Yeah.
deny? How can one deny? In fact, even India, there was a girl from Orissa who got selected to be a part of the K-pop media. So, definitely, we're seeing a
Amazing,
leap and
amazing.
bound.
Absolutely. So, touch upon that, the content.
Yeah,
What are the most popular forms of content in this region? Because, a lot of things that we see on Instagram, because we don't have TikTok in India, right?
yeah.
So, can you give us some insights into what are the top three categories of creators and what are the
Sure.
formats that are working there?
Absolutely. So I'll firstly give you the four famously put out categories of creators within the Southeast Asia market. One is definitely being a YouTube creator within the YouTube Shorts community. There's obviously TikTok. You could either be a podcaster, and podcasting is huge. It's massive out there. And the last, which is like the initial resort, is to be an influencer. So the content creation map has definitely changed in that bound. So when you're an influencer, for example, most of these Thai influencers from a very rich Asian community. So when you look at, if you watch that movie, Crazy Rich Asians, it's absolutely like that. And I'm not even kidding. If you go to Singapore, on the lanes of Singapore, on Orchard Street, you will find people shopping with their camera on, with their phone on,
Wow.
and being influencers, going into Coach, going to Louis Vuitton, going into Prada, showing their newest buys. And that is what is driving their economy. That is what is helping a vast section of people to buy products. When it comes to brand endorsements, when it comes to where do you want to go and eat, for example. There's another thing called mukbang, which is basically like eating vast amount of food in front of camera and having a conversation with people or your audience. That is another very famous way of doing it. And how can we deny like the fashion influence? I mean, China gave birth to Shein. So
Wow.
then
That's
there are
clear. Yeah.
the fashion halls. That's how people do. So that's
Yeah.
how content creation has changed in China, and mostly that has been also dictating within the streams of the West as well.
Right, right, right. So, Divya, Asian creators, are global brands interested in them? Are they making any inroads in this market? Please give us some examples as well, if you can.
Um, so I'd like to go back like a decade. to give you an example, where Asian influencers were probably Southeast Asian influencers was probably not that sought after because of the certain way they look or the certain way they dress up, etc. Right?
Yeah.
However, for the past 5 years, we have seen a drastic change, and it's insane at the rate at which global brands are absolutely crazy about Asian influencers. I can give you a couple of examples where we can see brands like Louis Vuitton, we can see brands like Prada having K-pop stars and singers as their brand ambassadors, which is absolutely crazy because they know like the younger generation within the Western media and the global media really looks up to these people. So as I mentioned before, there's a concept, do crazy rich Asian equates to crazy huge impact? Yes, it does. And the global brands have been cashing into it. With makeup brands like L'Oreal, MAC, Estee Lauder have been absolutely going crazy with Asian influencers, trying to bag them in, trying to get an ad sponsor. And in fact, it's so hard for them to get in touch with these people because their reach is massive. It's bigger than probably like, I don't want to like step on any toes, but like Logan Paul, for example, or Charlie D'Amelio. These are like very, very small players in front of most of these local Asian market people. So if you actually look at some of the influencers that we had mentioned, like for example, Joe Putra or Pippa, they have over millions and billions of followers across all social media platforms. So it's very easy to say that most global brands are now eagerly looking forward to a partner with them because they understand the reach. There's a cumulative understanding of how the market is being dictated because how much purchase rate is coming through all these ads and affiliate marketing platforms, right? And I already mentioned that most of them are dictating major shopping trends and let's just not forget the fact that Southeast Asians and Oriental and Asian people are crazy about retail therapy. So there's no denying why
Okay.
most global brands want to cash into this market right now. And when 35% of these Asian shoppers are coming through, just imagine the leaps and bounds they're making within the retail sector and how much revenue they are causing. So it's we can't forget the ecosystem that we are in as of now. It's not just the influencers, not just an ad.
Right.
It's all about return on investment, and they are giving them.
Absolutely. And speaking of ecosystems, how is this Eastern influencer marketing ecosystem different from their counterparts in the West?
When it comes to the influencer economy in the East and West, we need to look at the global influencer marketing sector as of now. When the CAGR is indicating a 32% reach, and it is supposed to go to $2.59 billion by 2025. So, looking east, the Chinese internet users have developed their own take on social media ecosystem and influencer marketing. Firstly, the Chinese social media platforms truly embrace the mobile first philosophy and have absolutely optimized for instantaneous sharing, hence TikTok. That's why like Reels became super famous in India. That's why
Yeah.
YouTube felt competitive and they said, let's have YouTube Shorts because long form content was really jarring for some people. And we want content on the go. So we just want to like keep scrolling.
Yeah.
I mean, and as a millennial and Shreya, who's probably at the cusp of like a millennial and a Gen Zer, this action and swipe left, swipe right is very, very important for us. So that's why ByteDance also decided to cash that out. And secondly, China's influencers have developed a unique ability to provide an immense entertainment to their audience. It's crazy. You might find their content cringe at times if you actually go through most of the YouTube shorts, but it's real-time interactions that have created more value. Um, in the West, things have to be picture perfect, for example. Most of the influencers, they take multiples, innumerous shots, but in the East, things live in imperfections. In fact, there was a very funny video of this girl who was walking down the streets of Thailand with her bags and a
Okay.
shopping bag, and she was just like strolling. And they wanted to show the Thai fashion trends. And there was basically a hawker behind her. So it's not looking at like picture perfect scenarios, but it's actually looking at what's the real time pulse. Are you living IRL? Is the most important thing for them.
So, guys, we have to let Shreya go. She has a very important meeting, some other inroads to make into the Southeast Asian market. So, we'll continue our conversation with Divya. Shreya, have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
So, Divya, as Shreya was saying about the influencer-led e-commerce, it's interesting that Instagram is the most relied upon, app in the Southeast Asian market. Why do you think that's the case?
That's actually quite funny because ByteDance also dictates a lot of shopping decisions when it comes to them entire market. So does Alibaba and Shopee. But when it comes to Instagram, it probably comes fourth in the entire ranking system as the first priority. So when it comes to Instagram, Southeast Asia people, they love Instagram. Of course, it's a form of social media content, and Singapore really enjoys it as a country. So in January 2022, Singapore Instagram users ended up reaching 3 million over what I'm talking about, the used ByteDance and YouTube Shorts and Alibaba, etc. Right? So Instagram has indeed grown as a quarter of growth of 5% per quarter. So in comparison to Snapchat and Facebook, which has just grown into a measly 2 to 3%, Instagram has shown that leap of bound of 5%, right? And however, Singapore brands spend more budget on Facebook, which is like a 62% mark over Instagram, which is 52 in 2022, with a 10% gap, which has been shown. However, the last quarter, the third biggest spending of influencer was 40%. And this is a very good sign, which showed that 67% of Singaporean brands had actually expected an exponential increase in their influencer marketing budget, which also led to most brands to also tap into this market. So the number game actually played out for them very well when it comes to their growth trajectory.
Right, amazing. So, what do you think gives Asian creators an edge over their Western counterparts?
So when it comes to Asian creators, I think, again, as I very rightly mentioned, it's all about the pulse of the market. It's about how they understand trends. It's also about how they are able to live IRL. And that's how most of the Asian influencers have been dictating the Western markets. That's why global brands have been so keen on working with these Asian influencers. And also, they've been able to create a massive mark within the society as of now. So, in fact, when it comes to like this year's digital media trend survey, it basically revealed that media companies in the United States are now feeling more turbulence from deeper currents of the consumer behavior because they are seeing everything that's been dictated within the Eastern economy and the Southeast Asian economy. And since social media has expanded, right, and has evolved dramatically, and we are in touch. And we are in touch so frequently, and we understand the pulse of the service now. The IRL is what dictates everything. We've witnessed influencers going into shopping malls with their cameras into a Zara, for example, or they go to hyper local markets with their cameras
Right.
saying that you should buy this or you should do this or you should do that. How often do you see someone in the West be doing that? I haven't seen so many
Yeah.
influencers doing that in the West. But since Southeast Asian influencers have actually created that benchmark, it's all about living up to the benchmark, mathematically speaking. So that has been
Amazing.
able to catapult for them.
So in a way, you're saying that lifestyle creators, basically that particular category is, defining why Southeast Asian markets are being preferred over the West by the brands.
Absolutely. And also, you need to understand that Southeast Asian countries are thriving on influencer marketing. Singapore, especially Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam. I mean, can you imagine countries like Vietnam,
Yeah,
Laos,
Vietnam.
Cambodia
Yeah,
are thriving on that.
amazing.
And it has gained much international recognition from being a tiny young country. And it has also been one
Yeah,
of the cleanest and the safest countries. So in Singapore, everybody has understood the fact that you can live a healthy lifestyle, have great fashion sense, and get everything on an amazing platter, I suppose.
Amazing, amazing. And to get, a bit technical about influencer marketing, can you tell our audience what is an influencer stack?
So the influencer stack has been relatively new within the market system. If you actually look at that, before that it was all about affiliate marketing, right? And looking at certain processes that actually help influencers to build their platform better. But the influencer stack has been illustrated in numerous ways by industry experts, right? From both a brand's perspective and from a creator's perspective. An influencer stack helps you create your content under one umbrella, build your audience, monetize your audience, and manage, measure, and analyze. So it's a one-stop shop for most creators and brand partnerships to come under one umbrella, help them create the content that they both are cool with and they're advised with, and in any form of content that they want, either short, long, or middle. Build their entire audience by, creators typically leverage mainstream media for networks and aggregations for building their audience, but now they're using influencer stack for that, for regional platforms. They're able to monetize the platform better because they have multiple streams of revenue as of now. And they are able to manage and analyze of their growth trajectory of how they can go forward.
Right. And, to round off our conversation, this first round of conversation, we mentioned, we talked about China, we mentioned K-pop, we talked about Southeast Asia, right? So I think it's best to, end this conversation by differentiating between Eastern market and Southeast Asian market, so that our audience has, proper idea what is Southeast Asian market and what is not. So can you specifically give us differentiations between, let's say, Eastern market and Southeast Asian market?
So when it comes to the Eastern market, so we need to look at the meteoric rise of the Beijing-based TikTok, which is ByteDance, right? Also, it shows how Asian-led innovations have been rivaling in the dominance of companies such as Meta, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Netflix, right? And yet, despite this beautiful, colorful landscape that they have, Asian creators have been able to build their careers on it. So when it comes to Eastern market, which is like the K-pop market, the China market, the Taiwanese market, you will notice a rise on the tools that they use, the platforms that they use. They're more local with their platforms. They would prefer a ByteDance over Instagram any day. They probably have a dwindling population which survives on Facebook, for example.
Okay.
There's Snapchat. But when it comes to Southeast Asia, it's an amalgamation of platforms. It is not only ByteDance, it's also Instagram, it's also YouTube Shorts. It's a holistic stack for them when it comes to the usage of platforms and which platforms they want to stream in. Another great differentiator with them has been in terms of fashion and the way they influence the world. You will see a stark difference when it comes to an Eastern K-pop fashion, and you will see a stark difference between someone who's from Thailand or Singapore or Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. They have more holistic sense of fashion when it comes to the entire building of their content. But that is funny when you go to China, or you go to South Korea, Taiwan, it's extremely high end. It's pristine. You cannot beat that mark. And also you need to understand the gaming sector. That's one thing that we haven't tapped into in this conversation, but at least 1 billion players are there worldwide in this entire precursor, which is absolutely decentralized. China and South Korea, Japan have been at their ace game when it comes to gaming influencers. Other countries which fall into the Southeast Asian domain are getting there, but they're not there yet. So that's one other major differentiator that I could see.
Right. So in a way, Southeast Asian market is like getting the best of the both worlds, Eastern market as well as the Western market. And with that, I think that's the first round of our conversation today. And we'll be here again with the same topic, approaching it from a different perspective. Again, about creator economy. So thank you, Divya. And Shreya is not here, so please convey our thanks to Shreya as well for giving us some insights into the Southeast Asian market. Any last words that you wanted to share?
Actually, no.
Yeah, because there are no last words because there are other
There are
episodes.
other, way more to come.
Yeah.
But thank you, TF Dow and Sugar, for having us and collaborating with us. We just want to say that
Well,
while we are doing all
yeah,
these conversations, we are building Budge in public, and we would love to show the world what we have to offer.
absolutely. Thank you once
Thank you.
again. And thanks to our audience for sticking with us. We'll see you in the next episode. Follow this series. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram as well as Budge. So yeah, with that, that's our first episode.
Thank
Thank you.
you.